Title: I found a note I wasn't supposed to read, Part 1/3. Hey Reddit. I've been lurking here for years, but this is the first time I'm actually posting something. I don't really know what I expect from sharing this, closure, maybe? Or just to get it out of my head. I swear this is real. It happened last year. I haven't told anyone except my older brother, and even he thinks I imagined half of it. But I know what I saw. And what I read. So, yeah. Here goes nothing. I was house-sitting for a guy named Alan. He was my boss's brother, mid-50s, single, kind of a recluse. I met him once before when he dropped off keys at our office. Quiet guy, wore those old wire-rimmed glasses and a wool coat even though it was July. Anyway, Alan was flying out to Maine for 2 weeks to visit his mother, and he needed someone to watch the house. Feed the cat, water the plants, collect the mail, that kind of stuff. It was easy money, and I was broke, so I said yes. His house was this old Victorian thing in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town. You know the kind: wooden porch, creaky floorboards, those little curled details on the staircase posts. It even had a dumbwaiter and one of those attics with a circular window that looks like an eye. I moved in the evening before he left. He walked me through everything, showed me where the cat food was, gave me a list of plant watering schedules. The man was weirdly intense about his ferns, pointed out the breaker panel, etc. As we were finishing up, he gave me this weird look. Like he wanted to say something but wasn't sure how. Listen, he finally said, scratching his arm. Don't go into the study. Please. Just keep the door shut. There's nothing dangerous, it's personal. I said, sure, no problem, and that was that. Famous last words. The first few days were uneventful. The cat, whose name was Beans, and who was approximately 90% fluff and 10% spite, mostly ignored me. I worked remotely during the day, watered the plants, played PS5 at night, ate too much pizza. Standard stuff. But I couldn't help noticing the study door. It was this heavy oak thing at the end of the hallway upstairs. Everything else in the house was sort of faded and homey, but the study door was pristine. Like it had been varnished recently. It had a brass doorknob that gleamed like it had just been polished. No lock. Just a simple latch. I walked past it probably 20 times in the first week. I told myself I respected Alan's privacy. I mean, I did. But the door kind of stared at me. It's weird to say, but it really felt like it wanted me to open it. Then on day 8, something changed. That night I was watching TV when I heard something upstairs. It wasn't loud, just a soft bump, like someone nudging a table. I paused Netflix and listened. Beans was asleep on the couch next to me, twitching like he was chasing ghost mice in his dreams. Another sound, a soft srrch, like a chair being pushed. Now, I've never been the brave horror movie type. I won't lie, I got a chill. I grabbed the fireplace poker, first time I've ever actually used one of those, and crept upstairs. Everything looked normal, except the study door. It was open. Just a crack. I swear on my life, it had been shut. I never touched it. I stood there for a second, heart pounding, gripping that stupid poker like it was Excalibur. Then I called out, hello? Nothing. I nudged the door open with my foot. Inside was dim, the curtains were drawn. Dust hung in the air like mist. There was a big mahogany desk against the far wall, a leather chair, shelves lined with books, some weird old artifacts, globes, bones, rocks, stuff that looked like it belonged in a museum. And right in the center of the desk was a folded piece of paper. Like it was waiting for me. That was the moment I should have turned around and left. Closed the door, apologized to the universe, and walked away. But I didn't. Because I'm a curious idiot. I walked in. The floor creaked under my feet in that theatrical haunted house way. The note was yellowed, folded neatly in half, and sealed with, I'm not kidding, red wax. No stamp. Just a plain wax seal, like someone had dripped candle wax on it and pressed their thumb into it. I hesitated, then broke it open. It was handwritten in thin, slanted cursive. The first line read, "If you are reading this, I am already gone. If you are reading this, I am already gone." That line hit me harder than it should have. Like, Alan had just gone to Maine to see his mom, right? But the way it was written, there was this finality to it. The rest of the note wasn't long. Here's what it said. I still have it memorized, word for word. If you are reading this, I am already gone. Do not look for me. Do not tell anyone you found this. You are in danger simply by knowing. The study is a doorway. Burn this letter. Burn what's in the drawer. Forget the sound. I must have read it 3 or 4 times, just frozen there, trying to make sense of it. The handwriting got shakier toward the end, like he'd been in a hurry or afraid. Forget the sound? What sound? I turned the letter over, nothing on the back. Then I noticed the desk had a drawer slightly open. And of course, being a total dumbass, I opened it. Inside was a small black cassette tape. Like, old-school 80s style. No label. Just that matte plastic with the little holes and clear window showing the magnetic ribbon inside. I hadn't even seen a tape player in years. And just sitting there with it was a book of matches. So, I know what you're thinking. Burn it. Obviously. That's what the note said, right? Except something about the tape. I don't know how to explain it. It felt heavy. Not physically, it was just a tape. But like it meant something. I kept thinking, what the hell is Alan caught up in? What does "the study is a doorway" even mean? I didn't burn it. I pocketed it. That was mistake number 1. I took the letter too, folded it up, and closed the drawer. As I turned to leave, I thought I heard something, a tiny, high-pitched tick behind me, like the sound an old grandfather clock makes just before the chime. But there wasn't a clock. The study door creaked louder than I remembered as I pulled it shut behind me. And it clicked shut. Like a lock engaging. That hadn't happened before. Back in the living room, I sat on the couch with the tape in my hand. Beans jumped up next to me and stared at it, then hissed. Literally hissed. The fluff ball had never even hissed at the vacuum cleaner. He jumped down and bolted into the kitchen. Awesome. I had an old tape deck in a box of junk in my car. I'd picked it up at a thrift shop months ago for some retro project I never actually started. I dug it out, hooked it up to the wall, popped the tape in, and hit play. There was static at first. Just white noise. Then silence. Then a voice. It was Alan's voice. But strained. Slower. Like he hadn't slept in days. This is for whoever finds it. I hope. I hope it's not you, Sarah. Or Will. But if it is, I'm sorry. I couldn't stop it. The tape crackled. A long pause. The sound started 3 weeks ago. Just before I found the door. It's not really a sound. It's more like a pressure in your head. You think it's tinnitus at first. Then it pulses. It wants you to listen. The hair on my arm stood up. The door behind the bookshelf opened by itself. It was never there before. And behind it. God, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not a room. It's behind the house. Behind reality. I stopped the tape. Because something was ticking again. This time, it wasn't faint. It was coming from upstairs. Slow. Rhythmic. Like something winding up. Tick, tick, tick. I grabbed my phone, flashlight on, and went back upstairs. The hallway was empty. Beans was nowhere in sight. The study door was still closed. I crept toward it. The ticking stopped. I waited. Then, 3 rapid knocks from inside the study. I swear I nearly dropped my phone. I didn't answer. Didn't open the door. I backed up, step by step, heart pounding in my chest like it was trying to claw its way out. That night, I locked myself in the guest bedroom with Beans and didn't sleep a second. The next day, I tried to act normal. I worked, watered the ferns, one of them was dead now, even though I followed the schedule exactly, fed Beans, avoided the study like it had a sign saying, "Here be demons." But all day, I had this headache. A tightness in the middle of my skull, like something trying to burrow behind my eyes. I kept thinking about what Alan said on the tape. It's not a sound, it wants you to listen. That night, I made the second big mistake. I played the rest of the tape. I went inside. I didn't mean to. The door pulled at me. I saw people I knew. But they weren't right. Their eyes were too wide. Their smile stayed when they stopped talking. One of them told me my mother was waiting. Another pause. Breathing. I tried to burn the tape. It won't burn. I tried to smash it. It reappeared in the drawer. I don't know if I'm recording this or just thinking it. But if you're hearing me, it's not too late. You haven't heard it yet. If you do, don't listen. Don't follow the sound. Don't go through the door. And whatever you do, don't speak to the man in the corner. The tape clicked. But the static kept going. Then, something else came through. A voice, not Alan's. Soft. Raspy. Smiling. It said, "I see you." I hit stop. Yanked the tape out. Threw it across the room like it had bitten me. It slid under the couch. I didn't even try to get it back. Beans was hiding under the table, ears flat, eyes huge. I sat next to him for like 10 minutes, trying to calm myself down. Telling myself I imagined it. That it was Alan messing with a voice modulator or something. But I knew I hadn't imagined it. That voice, I swear it felt like someone was whispering right into my ear, even though the speakers were 3 feet away. And when I looked into the darkened TV screen across the room, I thought, for just a second, I saw someone standing behind me. Tall. Thin. Wearing something like a suit. No face. But when I turned around, there was no one. I barely slept. The house felt wrong. Like something had shifted slightly out of place. Every corner seemed darker. Every shadow lingered longer than it should. And then the dreams started. Not dreams, exactly. More like intrusions. I'd wake up in a cold sweat, convinced someone had been whispering to me. One night I woke up with a word burned into my mind, again. No idea what it meant. Still don't. On the 9th night, yeah, the 9th, just like the letter said, I heard something I couldn't ignore. It was 3:12 a.m. I know because I checked. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, when I heard it. A voice. Not loud. But clear. Coming from the hallway. A child's voice. It said, "Are you going to help him?" My whole body went rigid. Then it spoke again, closer this time. "He's behind the wall. He's waiting." I sat up. The voice sounded like it was right outside the bedroom door. Then I heard the floorboards creak. Like small, bare feet. I didn't want to open the door. But I had to. I couldn't just lie there. I grabbed my phone and opened the door fast, like ripping off a band-aid. Nothing. Just the hallway. Empty. Except there were wet footprints on the floor. Bare. Child-sized. Leading toward the study. I didn't follow them right away. I waited until morning, lights on, sun up. Then I went back into the study. Everything looked the same, at first. But the bookshelf on the left wall had been moved. Not much, maybe an inch. Just enough to reveal something behind it, a thin crack in the wall, almost invisible unless you were looking for it. I pulled the shelf away, books and all, which took forever and almost crushed my foot. Behind it was a small, narrow door. No handle. Just a keyhole. I stared at it for a long time. Then I reached for the drawer where the tape had been. And there was something new inside. A small, antique key. Wrapped in a strip of paper that said, "You looked. Now you have to see." I know what I should have done: leave. Just pack my stuff, feed the cat one last time, and get out. But I didn't. Instead, I unlocked that tiny hidden door. The key slid in like it had always belonged there. When I turned it, the mechanism gave this soft click, and a faint draft of cold, dry air washed over me. The door creaked open to reveal a narrow staircase leading downward. Which made no sense. The room was on the second floor. There shouldn't be a downstairs. But the air smelled old. Like basement air. Or a tomb. I hesitated. Then, because I'm apparently suicidal, I grabbed a flashlight and went in. The staircase felt longer than it should have been. The wooden steps dipped under my feet, moaning like they hadn't been touched in years. The walls were stone, rough, almost like I was walking down into a well. And then the light hit something at the bottom, a room. It looked like a library. Except, not. The walls were lined with shelves, sure, but the books were strange. Leather-bound, scrawled with symbols I didn't recognize. Some looked handwritten. Some were chained shut. One was breathing. I swear to God, it expanded and contracted like a sleeping lung. In the center was a table. On it sat a single green book. I didn't touch it. Not after what the note said. Instead, I took photos. Or I tried to. My phone screen glitched out every time I pointed it at the books. The battery dropped from 72% to 11% in under a minute. Then it died. Totally dead. I backed out. Slowly. One step at a time. I don't even remember climbing back up. It's like I blinked and was suddenly in the study again. And the door behind the shelf was gone. Like it had never been there. That night, the whispering started for real. It came from the walls. From inside the pipes. From behind mirrors. Sometimes it was just soft murmuring. Sometimes it was my name. At 3:12 a.m., again, I woke up to see a shadow standing at the foot of the bed. Tall. Too tall. It didn't move. It didn't breathe. I shut my eyes. When I opened them, it was gone. Beans refused to come upstairs after that. I called Alan. Straight to voicemail. I messaged my boss. He said Alan never made it to Maine. Said the flight was cancelled and Alan decided to stay home. Except I was in his house. Alone. The next day, the green book was on the desk. I swear I didn't bring it up. It was just there. Same deep forest green leather. Same symbol etched into the cover, a circle with 3 vertical lines slashed through it. I didn't open it. But I started hearing it. This is going to sound nuts, but I'd be in another room, and I'd hear pages turning upstairs. Or a whisper, just a glance. I locked it in the drawer. Next morning? It was on the pillow next to me. I threw it in the fireplace. It didn't burn. I drowned it in the tub. It floated, bone dry. That night, I had a dream. I was standing in front of a mirror, but my reflection didn't move. It just stared. Then it smiled. It opened its mouth and whispered, "Read it." I woke up to find the book in my hands. And one word written on my arm, in ink. Soon. Title: I found a note I wasn't supposed to read, part 3/3. I didn't leave the house. I should have. But something was keeping me there. Not physically. Mentally. Like the place had reached into my brain and rewired something. I started hearing footsteps that matched mine, but half a beat behind. I'd look in mirrors and see people standing behind me, only there was no one when I turned. I started talking to Beans like he was the only sane one left. One night, I found a second note. Same handwriting as the first. You opened the door. You saw the book. Now it sees you. There's no hiding. Only delaying. You have until the mirror speaks. Then it comes through. The next morning, the mirror in the hallway had fogged over, even though the house was cold. Words were written in the fog. I'm here. I packed my things. I made it to the car. But I couldn't turn the key. My hands wouldn't move. Something whispered from the back seat, too late. I ran back inside like an idiot. The lights in the house were all on. Every room. The green book was open on the study desk. And Alan was sitting there. Except it wasn't him. His eyes were pitch black. His smile was wide and wrong. He spoke without moving his mouth. We told you not to feed us. Then everything went black. I woke up in my own bed 2 days later. Beans was gone. So was the book. I never went back to that house. It's empty now. For sale. But no one ever seems to buy it. Sometimes, when I'm falling asleep, I hear pages turning. Sometimes, my reflection doesn't quite match. I burned the original note last month. Didn't help. The whispering's getting louder. And I saw the boy again last night. This time, he spoke. It's your turn to write the note. If anyone's reading this, don't go near 17 Harrow Street. And if you find a green book, don't open it. Don't read it. Don't listen to it. Not even once. Title, update, the green book followed me home. Hey again, read it. So. Yeah. I didn't think I'd post here again. Honestly, I didn't want to. I figured sharing what happened would help me move on, get it out of my head and into the world, you know? I was wrong. Because something followed me back. I tried to pretend things were normal. I went back to work. I talked to friends. I told my therapist everything, except the supernatural stuff. I framed it as a hallucination brought on by stress. She nodded and recommended grounding techniques. They didn't work. I moved apartments. New place. New locks. No mirrors in the bedroom. But it didn't help. Because 2 nights ago, I found something on my kitchen table. A piece of paper. Old. Yellowed. Folded in half. Wax sealed in red. Exactly like the first note. I didn't want to open it. I swear I tried not to. But the seal was already broken. The note read. You delayed. That's all you ever did. It has waited long enough. You wrote the story. Now you must finish it. And below that, in a different hand. The book remembers. I burned it immediately. This time, it did catch fire. But when I checked my bookshelf that night, the green book was there. Like it had always been. I haven't opened it. Not yet. But it hums sometimes. And last night, when I walked past the bathroom mirror, my reflection blinked. I didn't. If this post disappears, or if I do, don't come looking. Just remember what I told you. If you find a note with a red wax seal, burn it. Before it reads you back.